until today, thousands of people every day cover, the pyramids and the tombs and temples throughout Egypt and Machu Picchu. And often the arguments kind of get stuck at, like, how do they do that? How do they get these blocks up on top of a mountain? And that is amazing how they did it. Like, how do they do that with the pyramid? And the people argue, was it aliens? Was it the Egyptians? And okay, fine. But whatever you say about it, the fact that it was that important to them is one of the stunning features, because the Great Pyramid is, I think they've calculated 1.3 million blocks of stone, some of them 70 tons, not down the base, but up somewhere up the top, all nicely aligned, all beautifully fitted together. And 70 tons, to put it in context, a car is about 2 tons. So you're talking about 35 cars on a big plank, 35 cars, and you get your mates around, to lift it up and carry it over the sands of Egypt. And then you've got to put it up and fit it in. That's just one block. I mean, if they had said, wow, they managed to transport one block all this distance, these miles that they transported these blocks to this, that would already be quite impressive. But to set up a pyramid, and then you got on the other side of the world, people doing the same thing in Peru, much later, of course, in history, but bringing these blocks up mountains. Again, you can get stuck on the how did they do that, which is another conversation, but the fact that it was that important to them. And one of the premises inside what we're looking at is, people feel a vibe when they go places. I like the atmosphere of that place. I don't feel good in that place. I like the energy of that person. I don't like the energy of that person. So we are sensitive creatures, we sense atmospheres, we sense places. Was it possible that back in the past people were much more sensitive and they knew that it wasn't just enough to have a nice atmosphere? There was something very important and relevant about having even higher atmospheres, something, whether you call it sacred or religious or spiritual, but something very high. And then the question remains, are you going to get it by one trip to Peru or one trip to Egypt or one trip to Tibet? Because even if you did find a temple that's not covered in tourists, bringing their energy, what about the rest of your life? You're not going to live there. So, we're very interested in the idea of what was there originally, anchored as a force, and can that be anchored in your own life? Can you make a situation in your home that allows those kind of higher energies to be with you? Otherwise, it's very difficult for somebody to get a trip like that. And then, and even if you did just have it 1 or 2 or 3 days,
yeah, absolutely,
it's not enough,
Yeah. Well, I met someone the other day who'd spent a month in Rarotonga or Fiji up in the island. It's nice to go there if you live in New Zealand, to go there in the winter because it's sort of warm and semi-tropical. And she'd only been 2 days back at work, and I said, "How was your holiday?" And she said, "It's a fading memory already."